Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is 4:48 a.m. As you can see, I've been up for a little bit. Today, I am traveling to Reston, Virginia for a business mastermind with Coach Justin Kavanaugh and Kane Sevesend. This is a mastermind group that I've been a part of for just over 2 years now. We meet on a bi-weekly basis over Zoom, and it's essentially a group of high-level business individuals in the scope of health and fitness. And we share information, we talk about different case studies, and we brainstorm opportunities to build our businesses together. And it is a fantastic collaborative environment that I'm grateful to be a part of. And once per quarter, we head up to Reston, Virginia, which is just outside DC, to have an in-person event and really dive in deep to the barriers that we're facing in our businesses and work hands-on towards that. 6 days post-show, I mentioned in my last video that I wasn't going to be weighing in until today for the sole purpose that I didn't want it to fuck with my head. So what we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about the post-show period, we're going to talk about travel, we're going to talk about business, and we're going to go over some of the things that I think are important when you are in that post-show period and planning for success. So like I mentioned, I weighed in. Body weight is just under 214, which is a great spot to be. 8 pounds up from my lowest weight, which was about 205. I feel awesome. As I mentioned, my training has completely pivoted. We went over the Monday video, 2 days post-show, where I went over kind of my training schedule, what that's going to look like, what my goals are. What I have found is, number one, my hunger is extremely high from all of the cardiovascular activity. Number two, my energy levels are great because of all the food that I'm eating, but I am so hungry. So I'm really biasing towards food volume here, a lot of fruits and vegetables. I'm keeping protein a little bit lower in that 200 range because I don't need to build muscle right now. In fact, having more muscle is probably a detriment to me when it comes to being aerobically fit and being able to move my body through space. That all to say, I'm not trying to lose muscle. I'm just trying to maximize my body composition at whatever weight I end up being. My goal is 100% to just perform at my best, feel at my best, and be able to be as capable as possible in whatever I decide to do. So you guys saw, I woke up, I did some meal prep for the day. I've got my 4 meals for the road trip. I'll make my own breakfast here. And then I also have all of my supplements for the week. I have all of my food for the week. I'm driving, so I can be a little bit more in control. And ultimately, I would much rather purchase food here, be able to prepare it, have everything that I need. And then if I need odds and ends while I'm away, I can sneak away and do that. But the priority while I'm away is networking and working on my business. I'm a big believer that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So I try to control as many variables as I can. The other piece here is that I am post-show. So I know that my hunger cues are all over the place. And if I resolve to eating fast food or eating food that I haven't prepared on my own, I know with my own personal relationship with food that it'll be really hard for me to control my total calories, and I will likely make decisions that will negatively affect both my body composition, but my digestion. And as you remember from prep, digestion was an issue. So a lot of the reasons why I'm being so controlled with my nutrition is so that I can manage my digestion. It took me until yesterday to feel normal in my digestion. And as I reintroduce foods that I haven't necessarily eaten over the course of prep, I am noticing that my digestion is very finicky. I had some spinach yesterday, and even though I cooked the spinach down and I mixed it with rice and I only had about 100 grams of spinach, it really fucked with my stomach. So I have to be wary of portion sizes of these new foods and slowly reintegrate them over time. Still prioritizing a high fiber diet. I'm getting around 50 grams of fiber per day, which if you're looking at measuring your fiber, you want to be around 14 grams of fiber per 1,000 calories. So I am at just over 3,000 calories right now, which means I should be aiming for that 36 to 40 gram of fiber range. I'm a little bit above that. Also having fermented foods with all of my meals, whether it be 50 grams of Greek yogurt in my 2 cream of rice meals or 50 grams of kimchi or sauerkraut in my meat-based meals. Carb source, primarily rice, lots of fruit. I'm having a piece of fruit or a serving of fruit with every single meal that I eat throughout the day, and at least 100 to 150 grams of cooked vegetables each meal. I've also reintroduced some avocado for some healthy fats, and I've increased my serving size of nut butter, which is a fat source that I digest very well. So as you'll see in the food prepping, I made 4 meals today. I pretty much built out a meal plan for myself that hits the calorie goals that I need to have, but also allows me the opportunity to, have some treats. The treat that I've been favoring lately is protein bars. I'm a big chocolate guy, but I know that like actual chocolate bars and like actual dairy products are gonna fuck with my stomach. There's two brands of bars that I actually digest very well, Grenade bars and Anna bars. So we have a bunch of Grenade bars here because one of my former clients is actually, his father is the distributor for Grenade back in Canada. So we have a bunch of boxes there. And then I just ordered a couple boxes of Anna bars. If I need a sweet treat throughout the day, I'm fine to go over my calories on protein, right? So if I go over my calories on protein, I'm still at 1 gram per pound because protein bars typically have about 20 grams of protein. So that puts me at 1 gram per pound. And then I just will go a little bit over my calories. My energy expenditure is high enough that it's able to be accommodated. And ultimately, I need a little bit of freedom, right? And if a protein bar puts me over, that's fine. This weekend while we're away, I know I'm going to be doing a lot of networking. I know there is a dinner event. So I know that I'm going to be having a free meal. Great, that's fine. I'm going to eat it. I'm probably going to make a choice that favors my digestion over my taste buds, but I'm going to eat my normal meals throughout the day. And then I'm just going to replace one meal with that free meal and I'll be over my calories. So we got everything that we need. So I mentioned it's 4:45. I'm not quite ready to do my cardio. I'll probably do my cardio in about an hour, but I do have some work to finish up. So I'm going to head into the office, get some work done, and then I will hop on and I actually have to go for a run this morning. So about an hour of cardio to do, including 15 minutes of walk run intervals. And then we'll, continue to pack the car and hit the road. All right, just came back from my run / zone 2. So right now I'm doing a walk run program where I do a 5-minute warm up and then I alternate between 1 minute of running and 1 minute of walking for 10 minutes. So just 5 rounds of 1 minute running. The reason behind that, I'm fit enough to run more, but the problem is I'm 215 pounds, 214 pounds, and my lower leg is just not used to it. So I'm dealing with some calf tightness and a little bit of discomfort while I'm running, also getting used to running in running shoes. So I have a couple different pairs of running shoes that I've been alternating in between to try and figure out which ones suit me best. But my run this morning was great. My pace was pretty quick for me, just over a 9-minute mile, which was awesome. Sorry if you hear the dogs in the background. Liv's about to feed them and they go crazy. Sitting down for meal 1, then I'm gonna have a quick shower and literally head right out the door. Everything is packed and I'm ready to rock. This weekend should be amazing. We're gonna focus on artificial intelligence and how to leverage it to build our businesses and grow our businesses. And I'm gonna be sharing everything with you guys here on the channel. So if there's anything in specific that you want me to go over in detail about what we learned over the weekend, just hit me in the comments. Meal 1 is 75 grams cream of rice, 1 scoop of TC Nutrition Isolate, 150 grams of berries, 5 grams of flax, 50 grams of Greek yogurt, and 25 grams of almond butter. And I just have some carrots and cucumbers here for some food volume and additional fiber. So I'm gonna get this down, have my shower, and head out the door so that I can get to rest and on time for a couple of meetings before I go to the gym and meet one of my clients. All right, guys, obviously still on the road. I'm in the middle of nowhere, Virginia. It's 1:45. Trunk here. I've got some kettlebells here. I've got a mat. I'm gonna set it all up for myself, and I'm just gonna do my circuit here. I'm gonna have some fun, wake up the drive, get some sun, hopefully get a little bit more energy, and hit the road. So let's hit it. All right, so this workout is going to be a kettlebell bent press, which is gonna be fucking brutal. Kettlebell around the world, into a rotational swing, into a gorilla row, and into a single arm front rack goblet squat. We're gonna go 3 rounds for time, trying to keep my heart rate below 80%. And if it does get to 80%, which is around like 145, I'm supposed to slow down and until my heart rate comes back down, and then keep going. Whew, nice and sweaty. That actually went really well. Considering I just got out of the car, did a few iso holds in the bottom of the squat, and then a little bit of T-spine mobility. That was a very thoracic spine heavy movement series. So we had the kettlebell bent press, which I had a lot of problems with. My thoracic mobility is trash. My ability to extend, rotate through my mid back is quite poor. I also have really tight hips. So that's a movement that's definitely going to challenge my limitations, especially when it comes to implementing running. The better you are able to rotate through your thoracic spine, the more you're going to be able to transfer force through your legs. So a lot of these supplemental workouts are geared towards the limitations that I have and how that's going to translate into a lot of the new movements and new modalities that I'm implementing. So that kettlebell bent press, I'd like to get that to a point where I'm parallel to the floor, really rotating through T-spine, opening up through the hips into hip flexion. Then we went into a kettlebell around the world. Again, thoracic spine mobility, shoulder mobility, core stability, trying to move through my T-spine, not through my lumbar spine, not through my hips. Then we went into a kettlebell rotational swing, which I really loved, really pushing into hip flexion on that loaded leg with some thoracic rotation, allowing some rotation through the pelvis, and then into that extension. From there, went into a gorilla row, which is one of my favorite movements. And you'll notice, again, a lot of these movements are really light. The goal isn't to get stronger. The goal is to go through the movements, get my heart rate up, move my body through space, and then move on. There's plenty of time to increase the load as we progress. This is week 1. From the kettlebell goblet squat, from the gorilla row, went into a single arm front rack goblet squat, which is gonna be, again, anti-rotation through the core, going through squatting motions. Guys, I have no pain. I have no pain in my knees. At no point did I feel my knees at all during that circuit. I feel fucking phenomenal. I feel like I'm in awesome shape. You know, after a week, it's funny to say that, but I feel like day after day, my conditioning has gotten better. And to not have any knee pain for the first time in my fucking adult life just feels so liberating. To pick up, do a workout after being in the car for 3.5 hours. It's really special. I did have to take a couple of breaks. My heart rate got over 140. Just took a little short walk, got it back down into that 125 range, and then was able to move through the circuit. So I did 4 rounds, 8 bench press per side, into 12 around the worlds per side, into 8 swings per side, into 8 rows per side, and then into 8 squats per side. Got through the whole circuit in less than 17 minutes. 4 rounds. It was actually programmed as 3. Don't tell my coach I did an extra round. I'm just gonna throw these kettlebells back in the car, probably keep my shirt off for a bit, and then keep driving. We'll catch you in the flip. All right, so just stopped at Starbucks. I'm about an hour and 15 minutes away from the gym, which I'm going straight to the gym, then I'll check into my hotel afterwards. I had to stop and do some mentorship calls, so I've got my laptop set up here. I've got my decaf iced coffee. I've got the remainder of my meal, which is just some cucumbers and carrots, because I had my cream of rice meal, which is the same as breakfast, except I had banana instead of berries. And then I'm going to probably have my last meal here after these calls, and then head to the gym and train. I'm having a decaf because I've already had an energy drink, and then I'm gonna have some pre-workout. Don't wanna go too far overboard on the crazy train for the training. But I'm excited. I'm training with my client, Taylor. She is a personal trainer, online coach in the Virginia, DC area, and she's gonna come train with me today. So really excited to meet her in person. I'm gonna knock these calls out and catch you in a bit. All right, made it to the shop gym. Finished up my calls around 5 and then had another hour and a half drive. Luckily didn't run into much traffic, which is nice. We're here at the shop gym in Ashburn, Virginia, and about to get another full body session in the week. My 3rd weight training session, final weight training session of the week. My client Taylor is gonna be joining us today. She's just running a little bit late, so I'm gonna get started with my warm up. We'll go through the workout, and then afterwards, when I check into the Airbnb, I'll take you through what I do in terms of preparing my meal prep and groceries to make sure that I can stay on plan. It takes a lot to travel. Traveling is something that I'm very grateful for as part of my job, but it does take some concessions to make sure that I can stay on plan and do the things that I need to do, which is something that I'm willing to do because that's important to me. I wanna make sure that my routine stays as even as possible during these traveling weekends, because that's what's gonna allow me to perform at my best and do the things that I need to do to be successful, both as an athlete and as a business owner. I need to be the pinnacle of what my clients shoot for. I need to be the product of my product. And if these are the things that I'm expecting of my clients, these need to be the things that I'm expecting of myself. So when Taylor gets here, we'll introduce you to her. And in the meantime, I'm just gonna warm up, get loose, do some couch stretch, do some isometric squat holds, and some dead hangs and get ready for the session. Taylor's here.
Yay!
Yay!
Hello.
Taylor, you want to introduce yourself? Who are you? What do you do?
My name is Taylor. Wow, you put me on the spot here.
No.
I am a fitness coach in the Maryland area, DMV area.
Who do you coach?
I coach women, mostly women who are just getting into the gym or not really new to the gym, but just want to learn more about strength training, perfecting form, just trying to better their health.
Gain some confidence?
Gain confidence, exactly. That's about it.
Awesome. So we figured out, so I actually coach Taylor. I do her training and her nutrition. And her session today is actually pretty close to mine. So we're just going to train together and we'll walk you through it every step of the way. All right, we're going to get into our first superset. It's going to be more so a dynamic effort. We're going to go lateral line hops, 30 reps, into 5 kettlebell snatches. I'm going to go double kettlebell. Taylor's going to go single. I did some single arm kettlebell snatches earlier in the week, so I'm modifying a little bit here. And then we're going into a speed skater jump, which is just a lateral jump to a 2-foot landing. Goal here is just move through the circuit. We're gonna do 3 sets. Low effort, we're just focusing on quality movement, landing under control, and then with the kettlebell snatches, moving fluidly through the repetitions. So let's just move through this like nice and easy. So imagine the line, and all we're gonna do is just nice and easy side to side jumping, imagining kind of a line in between our feet, just double leg hopping, okay? So a lot of the stuff that I'm doing now is like getting my ankles and hips used to absorbing force for the running.
Okay, which I need to be doing too.
If you're gonna run. Okay, so with the kettlebell swing, think about keeping the kettlebells close to your crotch as you can.
Okay.
So you're reaching through with the hinge, and then you're gonna swing up. When you swing up, I want you pulling on the kettlebell and then punching through at the top so it's not flopping over and hitting you in the forearm. Okay, let's see if you can do a couple reps. So you're reaching down there, and we're going all the way straight overhead. Okay, stop.
Okay. Do I need to light a kettlebell?
Nope, you need to do it properly. So you're gonna lead with your thumb, come here, then you're gonna pull up. That kettlebell is gonna roll around, and you're gonna punch through. So for you, it's gonna look like this. See how smooth that was?
Okay.
So I'm keeping it nice and close to my crotch and overhead. Start with it on the ground away from you, and then pull it between your legs. Yep, see how it flopped over onto your arm? I want you to punch through it. So the elbow bends because you're pulling, and then you punch through it. Start, yep. Fast. Pull it through. Not bad. Again, no, right into it from the top.
Oh.
There you go. Right into it. Good. Keep it closer to your body. Too far away from your body. Number 1, you're reaching too low, and number 2, you're swinging it out.
Okay.
Keep it close to your body. It's almost hitting you in the crotch. And then you're pulling through your elbow. Yeah, 2 more on this side. Yep, 1 more. Keep it close. Not bad. You're still reaching to the ground. Okay, so watch me. I'm gonna do 2 at the same time. Now the speed skater jump, we're gonna go from 1 leg, we're gonna jump laterally, land with 2 legs, reload, 2 legs. Okay, so it's gonna look like this. There you go. Keep it close to your body. From the top, swing it all the way down. Go. Too low. Taylor, literally hit your, like, get your forearm in your crotch. Swing it through your hips. Better. There you go. Good. There you go. It's not my first rodeo. All right, we're into our next superset, which is going to be chin-ups and single leg hip thrust. So again, a lot of what we're doing is preparing our body to move through space. I haven't done chin-ups in years. I'd be surprised if I got 5. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get it in a good dead hang position, hollow body with my abdominals, meaning my pelvis is tucked under me in a posterior pelvic tilt. Toes are in front of my hips. From a dead hang as high up as I can get and back down under control. And then with the hip thrust, we'll go over the hip thrust over there. So I did a couple reps to warm up. This is gonna be my first working set. I'm probably just gonna go to failure. That was embarrassing. Definitely noticed lack of mobility, trying to open my chest and get my chest to the bar. But it's my first day. It's my first day, guys. It'll get better. I had to take the weights off because Taylor's too strong for me. And I'm gonna rationalize it because she's going 2 legs and I'm going 1 leg. So we get a single leg hip thrust here. What you'll notice is I'm focusing very hard on keeping that posterior pelvic tilt, full foot pressure, focusing on big toe and the medial aspect of my heel, so my instep. That's to get a little bit more internal rotation of my hip. Control, control, control. Going 8 to 12 reps here. Again, stopping short of failure, focusing on moving through my hip, squeezing my glute as hard as I can at the top, and maintaining that ribs down posture and that neutral pelvis position. I don't want to allow my pelvis to dump back into anterior tilt in the bottom of this movement. So I'm trying to keep this as much glute as I can. A great feedback for me is if I feel my hamstring contract at the top, then I'm not keeping that posterior pelvic tilt. I didn't get much hamstring, there was a lot of glute, focusing exclusively on hip extension. So Taylor's actually training. She's gonna be pushing herself a lot harder than I am. I'm just in my intro week. She's gonna go with 2 legs. The cues are the same. She's trying to keep her rib cage down. She's trying to keep her pelvis in a posterior tilt, and she's trying to move only through her hips. Posterior tilt, you're going a little too low. I don't want to see your knees travel back. Right there, go, squeeze. Good. Squeeze through glute, yes. Pelvis, 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 glutes. Don't let this knee move. Down, yep, go. You're going a little too low. Keep that pelvis underneath. Go, squeeze. I'm with you. Come on. Squeeze. Good. Great work. I need you to make sure that your toes are square. You can't let your feet flare. That's fucking perfect. I feel like every set I'm getting better hip extension, which for me is a huge weakness. And the emphasis of this day is hip extension. 3 sets down there. What we're gonna do now, we're moving to the next superset. You can't really see in the videos because I'm cutting between sets, but my rest period is just doing my set, maybe coaching Taylor through her set, and then going right into my next movement. I'm not training for max strength anymore, so I don't need long rest periods. As long as the movement quality remains good and I'm moving well, I'm keeping my heart rate a little bit elevated because everything is about base building, building that base of aerobic fitness and that general physical preparedness is going to be required for both tactical games and building my running capacity. So these sessions are really about quality and just moving through them at a reasonable pace. None of these sessions should take me longer than 50 minutes. Next superset we're gonna get into is a Peterson step up or Peterson step down. Single leg, lowering ourselves, light touch to the box and coming up, focusing on whole foot pressure on that stance leg. Then we're into a weighted push-up. I'm gonna be doing those feet elevated from a deficit. Taylor's gonna be doing those from the floor. Taylor's coming back from an MCL tear, so this is actually a really good movement for her to get that VMO to fire. So that medial aspect of your quad that's responsible for a lot of that knee stability is gonna be worked to a large degree on this one, as well as relative hip internal rotation to try and keep that foot pressure even. So you can see Taylor's knee collapsing in. She's gonna wanna focus that foot pressure to make sure that she's not shifting her weight onto her instep and keeping that knee squarely over her foot. That was a lot better, but we want a light touch. What you'll notice here is that at the bottom, trying to get my elbows as far behind me as I can without rolling my shoulders forward. And at the top, I'm spreading my shoulders apart as far as I can, all while maintaining that hollow body position. So abs on, ribs down, because when we have our abs on and our ribs down, it creates a more convex rib cage, which means the rib cage rounds. Our shoulder blade is concave, meaning it's rounded in. So what we want to do is create a concave or convex structure that's rounded to match the shoulder blade, so that shoulder blade can glide effectively. That's what's going to help improve our shoulder mobility here. So as you can see, that left side for me is a lot more comfortable, which is funny because my left hip is the one that gives me the most problems. So that probably speaks to the fact that I'm shifting into that hip and getting more range from that than I am from the right, because the right's a bit more locked up, which is leading to that hip shift that I was experiencing in my squatting prior to my injury. All right, first exercise. This is the last superset of the day. It's supposed to be on a 45-degree hyper, but I can't seem to find one here. So we're gonna use a GHD. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get in the machine, make sure our legs are straight. Then we're gonna pull our ribs down as hard as we can, posteriorly tilt that pelvis, and we're only working on hip extension. If we're not gonna be getting any back extension here, so the range of motion is gonna look relatively small, but it's coming from exactly where we want it to come from, which is the glutes and the hamstrings, working exclusively on hip extension. So if we were using a 45-degree hyper, we'd get a lot more stretch through the hamstring, but we are definitely getting good pelvic movement here and definitely getting the emphasis that we're after, even though it's not the exercise that was programmed. Make sure we're not bending at the knee. Squeeze through the hams, not moving through here, all hips. There you go. Squeeze all hammies and glutes. 12, 3 more. 13, 2 more. 14, last one. Good work, Tay. Sneaky, eh? All right, now for the sexiest exercise of the day. We've got anterior tibialis raises. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our back against the wall, feet out in front of us. What I'm working on here is pelvic tilt, lock my knees, and then from here, I'm gonna keep my arms down to help me bring my ribs down. And all I'm doing is I'm raising my toes as high as I can, trying to keep my lower back pressed into the wall. A lot harder than it looks. This exercise, specifically for that lower leg endurance that I'm having issues with my running in the morning. So you see a lot of these things that we're working on today, whether it be the chin-ups, moving our body through space, the jumps, the lateral movement, the kettlebell work where we were doing a lot of rotating, the hip thrusts where we're working on single leg extension. All of this has direct carryover to me being able to run and to move my body through space, which are two things that I haven't done in probably 15 years. So it stands to reason that I'm gonna be a beginner initially, but there's a lot of runway for progression, which is extremely motivating. I'm gonna hang out with Tay for a few minutes while we finish up, bullshit, and then I gotta go check into my Airbnb. All right, just finished up that session with Taylor. It was so great to catch up with her. And one thing that we talked about was the fact that I hold her to a very high standard, right? So she was my mentee and she's also my client. So I do her training and nutrition, and I also helped her with her business. And one of the things that I really wanted to do today, this is our first time meeting in person, I wanted to iterate to her how well she is doing with everything. She is completely bought in to building herself up and locking into her habits and her routines and being the example for the clients that she coaches. And I hold her to a very high standard because I know what she's capable of. Like, I came down on her really hard when she was falling short, because as a coach, you need to be a product of your product. So if you're not walking the walk, your clients will see it and they will use every excuse in the book to do the same. And if you want to level them up, you have to start by leveling yourself up. On that note, sometimes you got to do things you don't want to do. And right now, I don't want to eat this meal cold in my car, but I'm going to anyway. My final meal of the day, dinner, is going to be eye of round roast, 150 grams, 150 grams of rice, 150 grams of veggies, and an orange. That brings total calories for the day up to about 3,500 because I had an extra protein bar, but I'm doing a shit ton of work, so I need a shit ton of calories, and I fucking feel great. That was a great training session. I feel like I'm moving well. I feel like I have a lot of gas in the tank, and I'm excited for tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be my first ruck walk. I probably won't film tomorrow, but I will film Sunday. So tomorrow's just a day off. I'm gonna catch up with one of my mentors. Maybe I'll film an interview with him. His name is Frank Wintrick. He was my first mentor at the University of South Florida. Since then, he's been at the University of Virginia. He's been at UCLA. I believe he was at BYU. And now he works in the military strength and conditioning field. Really excited to catch up with him. Haven't seen him in a couple of years. We're going to go for a ruck and then probably for breakfast. And then the rest of the day, I'm just going to be doing some client work and moving around. I actually have to come back here to do some isometrics, which is mainly like injury prevention stuff and mobility. But other than that, just hanging out. No one from the conference is going to be here until late Saturday night. And then the conference is Sunday. So I'm going to vlog all day Sunday, take you through the conference. And then Monday is also the second day of the conference. I'm going to vlog through that. I'm going to get interviews with as many coaches as I can to bring you as much value as possible and insights into what allow the highest performers in the business field of health and fitness to do what they do and serve their people. So I'm going to get this meal down, check into the hotel, and then like I mentioned, we're going to go over what I did for groceries and meal prep to prepare myself to stay on track for the weekend. All right, so we're all checked in, got the parking situated and everything like that. I've stayed in this Airbnb before, not this exact apartment, but in this building. It's like 2 towers. It's really complicated. Luckily, we're in Tower 2, which is the same tower as the fitness center. So it's going to be a little bit easier to get there. But I wanted to take you through kind of how I set up the meal prep for this weekend. So in this bag, I condensed everything up so that I could have everything together. So I've got some fruit, I've got some bananas, I've got an apple and some oranges. I've got some additional rice cakes just in case I run out of carbs. I've got my food scale, which is going to be incredibly important. A couple of condiments for my meals. So that's going to go in here. The supplements bag. We have my dirty shirt from before. So this, we've got a couple protein bars. We've got flax powder. We've got salt with a 1/4 teaspoon to measure. And then we've got all of our AM and PM supplements in here as well. So I take, we have our digestive shake that we're doing in the morning. So all of those are going to be here pre-packaged. And I'm just realizing now that the protein bars have melted a little bit, which sucks. I also have some Rice Krispie treats just in case I need some quick carbs around training and I'm running low. So I'm going to throw those in the fridge. Hopefully they harden up and they don't suck. All of my normal supplements that I take on a daily basis. Insulin syringes for the peptides. We've got our electrolytes, aminos, TC Nutrition. Never travel without my Aminolite. We've got also Batch 27 stim-free pre-workout. I like to take this actually intra-workout during my sessions. We've got some creatine, we've got some pre-workout, got some more Aminolite. I didn't realize I took 2 flavors. I hope Liv isn't mad. We've got some water flavoring here. And then I've got my trusty tackle box filled with all my health supplements, which I have to take. I was supposed to take them with my post-workout meal, but I forgot. The benefit of staying by myself is that I don't have to be clean. I can just put my shit wherever I want it, and no one can get mad at me. I'm gonna throw these in the fridge. I'm gonna throw these on the counter over here. I threw some of my groceries into my suitcase just to condense how much shit I had. So we've got our whey protein, carb powder, and I'm just gonna leave this shit on the counter because again, no one gives a shit. I've got cream of rice, which I'll put over here. We've got the all new Batch 27 energy drink, which I'm so excited about. I had one today and it was so good. So throw those in the fridge. Almost have enough for one a day for the whole trip, but unfortunately not quite. We've got pineapple. We've got extra microwavable rice and some peanut butter. So that all does it for the groceries that were in the suitcase. Got my hats because I always wear hats. Now for the important stuff. We've got in here everything that goes in the fridge. So I've got my lemon juice, I've got my aloe vera, and I've got my apple cider vinegar from my morning gut health drink. Would I do this if I was flying? Absolutely not. But since I'm driving, take advantage of it. Make sure that you control as many variables as you can. I've got rice, carrots, beef, chicken, turkey, my 3 meat sources. I've got kimchi and sauerkraut here. I've got the rest of my avocado that I didn't eat, Greek yogurt. And before anyone asks, there's a ton of ice in here, ice packs and frozen food. So that helps keep everything cold. Green beans, frozen fruit, frozen berries. Unfortunately, those are thawed, so I hope they don't freeze shitty. I've got more green beans. I've got frozen avocado. I've got some cucumber, and I've got all of my peptides. Is that gonna last me the whole trip? Probably not, but it at least has me covered for the first little bit. And I can always go to the grocery store. I have a car. It'll at least get me through the conference into Tuesday. And then if I need a few things, a few odds and ends from now until Tuesday, I can either Instacart it or I can go grab it at the grocery store. So this is how you do your best to control your variables while you're traveling by car. I hope you learned a little bit of something, but if there's anything you would like to see, please make sure to ask me in the comments. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and I'll catch you at the Coach's Room Mastermind on Sunday.